Hi, I'm Jay. This is my garden. It's a hard mulch life.
It's a hard mulch life for me. It's a hard mulch life for you. Planting, gardening, best we can do.
So today I thought I would give you a walkthrough of the garden. It's been a while. Got a few things that we want to do some updates on, some things you guys haven't seen the results of yet, some things kind of excited to show you. And I hope you like it. We've made a lot of changes, and it's Father's Day weekend, not Father's Day, but Saturday before Father's Day weekend, 2026, here on the east coast of North Carolina in Zone 8B. And this, if you remember, is Steve. Steve is our branch that broke off when I first planted, or I should say replanted, one of my very first tomato plants. And we didn't know if Steve would survive. So we grew him in some water for a while to make him grow roots. And then we planted him a few weeks ago. And he's done amazing. He's already got a few flowers coming up. So we had to put a little bit of twine on him to attach him to his pole here because he was starting to get a little heavy and leaning over. And we're going to do some pruning on him today too because he's getting some extra branches that we just don't need. But before we do some pruning, let me show you around a bit. So about 2 weeks ago, if you remember, we took a piece of fish and we put it into a container, one of these 5-gallon buckets, and we put some corn in it. And we wanted to see how they would grow. And then we have a regular one. I got something crawling on me. We've got a regular one that we grew by itself. Well, here's the results so far. This is the container that had the fish in it, and it's doing really well. In fact, it's really branching very nicely, and it's all of the plants that are in there have done very well. Now, I read you can put 4 plants in a container of corn. Um, I'm a little concerned if maybe I should separate them. So any of you expert gardeners out there, please let me know. But I know I can put at least 2 in a container and they don't have to worry about fighting for anything. So that's working fine. But what I was not surprised about was the single plant, the one that was all by himself. He's done remarkably well. And there's even a couple of little baby corns that have been spawned in here. And it's amazing to me. I didn't realize that corn, and I think I said this the last time, that corn were so easily to pollinate themselves. I mean, these guys are everywhere. I find little corn plants in just about everything. But anyway, let me show you some other stuff. So if you remember, this bed's gone through a lot of changes over the season so far. We used to have a raspberry bush here. We had 2 tomatoes in the middle, and I forget what was on this side. Oh, the strawberry bush. Well, because this bed's so shallow, only about 6 or 8 inches, I had to move all those because I'm a brand new gardener and I had no idea that they wouldn't be able to do well there. But when I saw them start to mound themselves up out of the ground, I thought, feel like there's a problem. So they've all been moved to their own containers and they're doing rather well. So now what we have planted here, there's several onions that have been planted here. We've got some dill and cilantro. There's going to be some other spices that are going in this other section. And we've been trying to grow peanuts over here. The peanuts have been a bit of a challenge, but we have had some success with the plants. Let me show you. Okay, so as you can see, here's our peanut plants. We have 3, well, it looks like this is either a branch of that plant or a 4th one. Same on this side, probably a branch. And then a littler one here, but there should have been so many more. They just didn't grow. I'm considering digging a couple of them up to see if maybe they started to germinate and then just stopped. This is one of our auras. It's one of those type that takes the bottle when you put into it. It's not bad. It's nice to be able to visually see when they're running low. I should probably take the logos off the bottle. But all in all, they're doing pretty well. And here's our oregano and our dill. This is a little yellowing. That's a little concerning. I need to take a look at that. And the onions, boy, they're just growing like crazy, aren't they? Now, I am very allergic to the onion juice, so I can't touch them. My wife handles the onions. I can eat dehydrated onion and things like that, but the ones with the juice will give me hives. Okay, let's see what else we got. So if you remember, this was the bed that we had our butter crunch lettuce in, and we just took it all out because it flowered. Just before it took it out, we got a white sort of a fungal thing that came on, and luckily it didn't spread anywhere else. We were able to get all the affected soil out of here. So we still have a bed we can plant things in. And this is our bell pepper plants. This one is a little further behind the other one, but there is some babies growing on there. And this guy's got a couple of really nice ones growing. Look at that. Oops. Looking really good. Several things growing. So that's very encouraging. Now, what you can't tell here, this was one of the original beds, the ones with the tomatoes and the basil and the garlic. And of course, the marigolds that we planted to help bring pollinating bugs. But of course, the marigolds that we ended up getting in our variety pack that we got from Walmart had several that were African marigolds, which I had no idea got so big. I mean, look at these guys, they're everywhere. And they get almost like tomatoes. They get big enough that they start to fall over and break if you don't support them. So I had to put a little stick here to put a support beam in there for them. We've got lots of cherry tomatoes coming in here. Lots and lots and lots. It looks really good. We were having a problem a couple of weeks ago with blossom end rot. We were watering rather well, so we ended up having to get a food to help with the calcium, because it ended up being a calcium problem. And of course, on this side, we've got a really nice looking tomato there that's coming in. Let me get to the other side so you can see what's going on. Okay, so we're on the other side of that same bed. Look at these lovely marigolds. Look how rich and colorful they are. So amazing. I just love these things. Such a variety of colors, too. These bright oranges and these sort of almost burnt reds. Look at this guy over here. Isn't that great looking? And just keep going. Pollination after pollination. And on this plant, you can see we've got many tomatoes. And I just did some pruning last weekend. Oh, we got a broken branch. Did some pruning last weekend to kind of help with growth. But still, I'm really happy with it. Looking really good. And it's like a forest of tomatoes in here. They're all over the place. Like a Wild West. I'm gonna have to do some more pruning here today, probably. Got a little basil right here in the front. It's getting pretty tall. I need to go ahead and pick some of that too. So in the other bed, the other original bed, we had lettuce, some more marigolds, of course, and of course there was supposed to be some more seasoning, like cilantro and various other things, but that's the one that my dog got into really well, and we didn't think anything was going to grow because we thought she got all the seeds. But anyway, so we are coming to the end of our lettuce as well here too, so we're going to have to do some new planting to keep lettuce going throughout the rest of the season. But here, take a look. So this is our garden lettuce that we planted, and you can see we've been harvesting it, so it's getting quite tall now. It's doing really well. Got a little nibblers going on in this area. We've had a few of those red-headed bugs with the black bodies. We've been trying to keep them out. This one's doing really well, so we need to come harvest some lettuce today. See how the marigolds fall right over? This one's going to need a support too. You can just see it. It's like it gets so heavy on itself that the stem can't support it, especially when it gets a lot of rain, which we had a lot of rain the last few days, which was nice. But too much rain is bad because then it can cause problems with your flowering and your fruiting plants. Now look at my broccoli. Something is destroying my broccoli. But we are getting some broccoli heads developing here on all of them. So that is encouraging. We've got some pest control stuff, but of course we want to try to use the organic stuff. So all in all, things are going well. I've been very happy with the way things are going, and our potato plants should be ready in the next couple of weeks to harvest because they're starting to die off. Take a look. This guy is one of the younger ones, so he's hanging on. And that beepy sound you hear is a deterrent for moles and rats and snakes. It's this guy right here. I apologize if it's annoying. But so this one's pairing off. This is one of the older ones, and it's leaned over. It's turning yellow. We did add some more, mounded up some more of the dirt because, believe it or not, we're starting to get some new growth. So I'm worried that there may be something under there that's deciding to grow. And then this guy, of course, most of the tomato plants are pretty much dead. And then the sunflowers, which fell into the bed from the birds, fell into the bed and grew rather nicely. And this one is getting ready to bloom. So that should look really cool. I can't wait to see what that looks like. I just found a mole hiding underneath a deflated rain barrel. You see them? My deterrent isn't working so hot, is it? It's a should be a mole. It looked like it had a no tail kind of thing, but he disappeared. I gotta look for another deterrent. Well, anyway, we have a wild sunflower that bloomed here. And this, if you remember, is the sunflower forest that the birds were nice enough to plant for us. It's gone rather well. It's gotten a little bit devoured by mosquitoes. Well, not mosquitoes, but probably those red-headed bugs that I was talking about earlier. But regardless, they bloomed rather nicely. And these particular ones are the ones that I sprayed the manure tea on. So you can see the difference between these guys and those guys over there. Big difference. Manure tea really does work well. Looks like this guy is going to be coming to a bloom soon. Pretty healthy plant, that one looks like. So remember I said that we transplanted the strawberries from the bed that's over there, and we put them in their own containers. And when I did that, I discovered that the strawberry bush that was in there had made a baby. Well, check out, you see how they're doing. Here's the baby. Looks nice and lush and green. Has been throwing out runners, but only one or two. And you can see there's a strawberry in there. But we're having trouble because something keeps coming and eating our strawberries. These guys are doing pretty well. Except as you can see, we got a munch strawberry again. So we're going to build some new cages to keep things from eating our strawberries. I saw on another gardening channel, somebody had taken like a garden bed and they built like a hinged door over the top of it that had some nice chicken wire on it. And then they decided to clamp that shut so that way nothing, unless it's very small like a pollinator, is going to be able to get in there. Of course, that's not going to stop things like your devouring bugs and those kind of things, but it will definitely stop the big things like birds and rats and moles and those kind of things from coming in and stealing your food. And this is what they look like. So I got these made on Facebook Marketplace. They're extremely well done and was an extremely reasonable price. And we're going to build a small doorway over the top of them that's got some chicken wire on it. And we're going to use that to plant a bunch of strawberries. Now, I've ordered some extra strawberry plants, so they're already grown. I want to try to grow them from seed. I've not had a lot of luck doing that. But in general, I'm very happy with the way things are going. And we're going to be moving or rearranging the garden a bit. Of course, we can't move the beds around, but we can move some of the other things, the portable things. And where all the tomatoes are located, or the main tomatoes are located, that whole pallet's going to get moved over to where the new beds are, because we also have two brand new metal above ground beds that we're going to be planting some of our more winter crops in. So that'll be fun. Oh, the two new beds that I started a couple weeks ago, I wanted to show you how they look because they exploded. So these are the two new beds, and this is squash, and it's going crazy. I mean, these are all grown from seed. These are two romaines. Now, I did not grow the romaines from seed. These are the two romaines that I had up on the table when I was trying to raise Steve. If you remember when Steve was in his water container for a while when he was trying to stay alive. Insert your best John Travolta moves to staying alive. And these tomatoes are growing quite big. I need to do some pruning on them too, or they're going to end up getting too bushy like the other bed. But we've already got some babies growing, as you can see. Some of these are doing pretty well. I won't say that I feel like I've got the hang of it, because that would be just arrogant. But I do feel like I'm getting the hang of it. I learn some things and then I make horrible mistakes. But the cucumbers have done really well. We've gotten several cucumbers out of our cucumber area here. And we've got more cucumbers over here in the other brand new bed. And they're already flowering and doing quite well. And here there's some corn planted here. You can't quite see yet. But we had a pea. You can see him back there. He committed suicide, unfortunately. But what can you do? But we did plant some more peppers over here. We've got a couple peppers that have started to grow pretty well. So Becky can have some peppers, and I'm going to enjoy some peppers myself. And then these other cucumbers, and I doubt we have any growth on those yet, but we might. All this rain we've had, it's really done quite well. Let me see if I can find if we have any more little babies on the original cucumber plant. See anything so far? No, either something has eaten them all off, which is entirely possible, or they died off. Let me check. Oh, wait. There's one. See him back there? Yeah, he's doing pretty well. And we've harvested probably about 4 or 5 of them now. I've been very happy with the way they've done. And in this bed over here, which it looks a bit empty right now, but there's a whole bunch of corn that's supposed to come in. I had planted corn, but it did not take. And I found out only after the fact that corn does not like to be transplanted. So because corn doesn't like to be transplanted, I found that out after I tried. I think I grew 4 or 5 plants, and then I put them in the ground. They did okay for a couple of days, and then they just wilted away no matter what I did. That's the best to learn. And one thing I would do, all you brand new gardeners out there, just like I was. See, I started in March of 2026. So, a few months. So I know nothing. I make tons of mistakes, which is why I share the mistakes here, hoping that maybe you can avoid them. Do a lot more research. I did not. I do research, and then sometimes I don't do enough. Just finding 1 or 2 people to tell you the answers you think you want or the answers that you think you already know. Research a ton of them. Go find as many different channels as you can, books as you can. There's a bunch of books. Tractor Supply has tons of books. Find those, research it, find those plants. What can I grow in May? What can I grow in March? What can I grow in April? When should I start going to seed? Those are all very important questions. What is going to do the best after June and July and August? Can I still grow lettuce and things like that in June and July and August? And you can, but you have to be very strategic about where you put the lettuce so that it doesn't get too much. It wants sun, but if it gets too much sun, it will wilt and die because it's more of a spring crop. And you can research. There are different versions of plants that do better at different times of the year. Do your research. And the more you do it, the more you're going to retain that. You're not going to have to do it every time you go to make a plant. But if you're getting serious about it, like I am, and you're really enjoying it like I am, then you're going to want to know these things so that you can make the correct decisions so your plants are more successful. You know what I mean? But anyway, that is the update to the garden, and I'm very happy with everything. Like I said, these guys over here, they're going to all get moved all the way over here. They're going to move right here in front of the strawberry beds and in front of the peanuts and the onions. And that is to make a separation in the garden between the flower area, which is really my wife's area. Look at the sunflowers. Isn't this thing incredible? Look how big it's got. Getting ready to flower on top too. And this is all from birds tossing it out of the way and knocking it off the plates. So all the moving around is really in an effort to kind of separate the garden a bit so that we have vegetables on one side and flowers on the other. And then the greenhouse, of course, is at the other end. And if you notice, the fence behind me has been replaced. My neighbors did go ahead and replace the fence. They even made a great gate for us. Check it out. You can see over there, they built a really nice gate for us to come in and out of. So much nicer than the one we had before, which didn't work well. So we moved the greenhouse over here. And you can see I took one of the sections of the old fence that we had paid for, and I built a foundation. Well, not really a foundation. I built a floor for the greenhouse, and it gave us something to anchor it to. So when it gets windy, because it's a PVC greenhouse, so it's susceptible to a lot of wind and shaking and stuff. Got some bags of soil. We're going to need a whole bunch more for the beds that we got, because our brand new beds that we're planting over that way are like 9 feet long, and there's 2 of them. And they'll be the last ones, and the strawberry ones will be the last ones we do this season. And that will hopefully take us all the way through to the winter. And then I'm already looking at cover crops and what kind of things I can plant in the beds to keep the soil viable. And if you don't know what cover crops are, and if you don't know why they're important, I suggest you to do that research, because you want to make sure your soil and all the hard work you've done over the year doesn't turn anaerobic, I think is the right term, where you're not able to plant much in and it's not very fertile. So you've done all this hard work. Keep it going. That's it from me, guys. This has been a garden update. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Jay. This is my garden. It's been a hard mulch life. You guys have a great gardening weekend. Take care of yourselves. Okay, so just to give you perspective, this is where the beds are going to go. Like I said, I'll do a quick update once we get them in place so you can kind of see how everything's going to be laid out, because by then the tomatoes and the corn, everything's going to be in the final spots they're going to be living in. And then the garden will have its sort of final look, which is kind of neat because when I started this, it was just sort of hodgepodge, still kind of hodgepodge, but it's getting more of a theme to it, which I like. So that's it. That's the garden update. I hope you guys enjoyed it and you like the way things are going. See, those red ones and black ones already. But I'm Jay. This is my garden. And it's a hard mulch life. You guys have a great weekend. Happy gardening. Happy Father's Day. See you later.